I'm tired of hearing people say, Tim Black, DeSantis policies on immigration will help black folks. Nah, man, you know what will help black folks? Legislation for black folks.
Amen.
Ladies, maybe you'll understand this. Maybe you can tell a fella so they'll get it. If a man likes you and he wants to give you a car, you don't need him to take his old car back from the girl he gave it to already. You need him to go out and buy you a car. DeSantis, if he wants you to have keys to the car, he can just give you keys to the car or give you a brand new car. He don't need to take the keys from the person he gave the car to, and then you take this car and then get the title transferred over. Okay, now you can take over the lease. No! DeSantis is governor. If he wanted to help black people, he'd just say,
hey, black people, I got something for you.
So stop telling me him being stricter with immigration somehow is going to wash over and help black people get jobs, because if that's the case, under Obama, you'd have been good in Florida, wouldn't you? Because Obama deported more undocumented people than any other president. So if all it takes is less immigrants, wouldn't you already be good? Wouldn't that be shown in the data? But I can find no data that shows that stopping immigration is going to actually help black people. I know you think it does because you look at the numbers, but how long have you been black to not know when it comes to black people, the math never add up for us? Just because they save $100 billion don't mean they send any of it our way. They could just give it to their friends. That's been my experience. And it's not just my experience, that's been the black experience. Once again, a governor could simply use his pen and make executive orders. Right now, DeSantis, if he wanted to help black people, he could. He could sign an executive order, sort of like the one that Marion Barry did, where he decided that 30% of all government contracts would go to black small businesses. DeSantis could do that tomorrow, but he won't. Why won't he do it? He doesn't want to help black Floridians. Oh, come on now. If he wins the presidency, it'll be different. Nah, it won't. Nah, it won't.
Plus, that's too divisive. That's too divisive.
He doesn't even want black history being taught if it is about racism or discrimination against blacks, because white kids somehow, some way may feel a certain kind of way about grandpa and pop or grandma. Like, there is no study that shows that teaching black history hurts white children. It's all types of stories that show that black people not knowing their history and not being respected in America hurts black children and black people. But not a single story, not a single study has been conducted that shows that it's detrimental for white people to know the history of America. He just assumes it'll be bad. So he shits on black people and rises CRT is the boogeyman thing for 4 years straight. But I can't judge him on that. No, I got to go by this AP course that somehow has been shoehorned in some LGBTQ teachings or something. I'm not saying that's good, but that ain't the only reason why I don't have a good feeling about DeSantis. It's the CRT stuff. It's, hey dog, I know you think it's cool for the Dems to get owned, but taking powerless people and shipping them in the middle of the night to someone's household lawn over Kamala's house just because you want to own the libs ain't exactly a nice thing to do to people. We black people need to start worrying about what happens to other people. That's what you think? I don't think that's the way to do it. I don't think that's what's going to help us. I think we need to hold DeSantis responsible and all people responsible for what they do. Ron DeSantis has continually shown who he is. If he showed it another way, fine. Derek Hamilton, when I had Derek Hamilton on the show, I was thinking just like a lot of you think. Yo, this immigration thing hurts black folks. But once again, Dr. Derek Hamilton said, I have no data to prove that that's the case. We say it. I'm telling you exactly what it is. America's so racist, if it helps you, they don't want to do it. If it helps me, they don't want to do it. Do you understand how racism works? It makes sense to just go hire that black guy right there for this job, right? But nah, we'd rather not have a job filled and raise prices to hire someone else. because they don't want you to get ahead. You understand what racism is? You say you understand white supremacy and racism and all that shit, but then you don't understand the application of it. I know it's logical that if you hire less undocumented people, those jobs should go to black people. I know that's thinking logically, but that would depend on America not being as racist as it is. Yeah, it's logical that we could all have health care, but that would mean black people would get it too. Get it? It's logical that we would have free schooling, but who would get it? Black people, because there's no way to put it in there that black people can't get it. See, back in the day, they just put it in there and say, no blacks. See, the New Deal, they were able to put in there, hey, no, since all the blacks only had sharecropping jobs and domestic jobs, they were able to put in the New Deal that sharecroppers and domestics don't get it. That was the way to keep black people from getting it. You understand what they did? But see, they can't do that now because we got jobs in every sector. They can't win elections if they can't pit poor white people against poor black people. Racism is so toxic. It's so debilitating to the mind, the psyche. The purveyors of it would rather take the L and just lose some white people than save us all. And that's what's happening. The mental gymnastics must stop. You may think I haven't thought this all the way through. I have. I just disagree with you. I don't think DeSantis has been doing these things to help black people. He hasn't. You need people that are going to work on your behalf. Oh, and one last thought before we leave this. Yo, we should not be okay with saying, Tim Black, we need to teach our own history anyway. No, that's what schools are for. Stop giving this guy a way out. Yeah, that's the point I wanted to make. Stop giving this guy a way out. Stop telling me that black people need to take ownership of their own kids and start teaching them their own history. Look, I'm sorry to tell you this, but not every black person is a historian. We got other jobs outside the house. We got other jobs, other things we need to do instead of educating our own kids. Not every black parent can be a homeschool teacher. That's what the tax money's for. We should be able to demand that our schools be taught black history just like white history, American history. You should not be able to say a cop-out and then blame black people for not teaching their kids history. Asian kids ain't got to say to their parents, or parents ain't got to say to them to teach Asian American history, or white kids ain't got to be, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying. Stop putting that on black people. Put it on the school board. We need to make our leaders and make our schools and make our systems teach our kids fairly. That's what needs to happen. Stop putting it on black people to do it for themselves. We can't control the water. The water needs to be clean for us. We don't got to clean our own water. Shouldn't have to say black people got to go clean the air too. No, we need to elect people that'll do that. If not, vote their asses out. Be a part of the process. Don't just point at black people and say what we got to do for ourselves. Some shit can't be done for self. That's why you have communities. That's why you have a government. And I'm not saying the government's going to solve all these problems, but if we're paying taxes into a system and they're not giving us what we deserve, we need to be on their asses, not on each other's, about what we ain't doing for us. Nobody asked Latinos or undocumented people to help themselves stay. They're asking, petitioning, and they're fighting against DeSantis and fighting against Republicans who want to deport them. They're not going to the Latinos and saying, or the undocumented people and saying, you need to fight harder to stay. No, because some things are bigger than the individual. Thomas Sowell, motherfuckers. Glenn Lowry. Dr. Glenn Lowry, ass kiss fuckhead. Bill Maher School of Technical or Political Thought. Some things are bigger than the individual. She or he can't do it on their own. Has to be done with government. That's what government's for. Things like water, food, health care. Next should be saying black people we should not demand that doctors treat our women better. We should all operate on our own women, our own wives and daughters. That's stupid. We should demand doctors treat our women like they treat white women and make sure that they have the prenatal and after and the postnatal care that white women get. Instead of you saying Oh, we need to do it ourselves. It's just being a doctor changes everything. No, it's a system. We got to fight the system. All right, back to DeSantis. If somebody could produce evidence that DeSantis' tougher immigration laws actually help us, not theoretically, not in your mind, not because it's logical, but actually help us, I'm willing to change my mind. I really don't give a shit. I don't have a vendetta against DeSantis. I have a vendetta against bullshit. I have a problem when people jump to conclusions. Yeah, you know what should have happened? White people should have gave us 40 acres and a mule too. It should have. It was the ethical, reasonable, humane thing to do. Instead, they let us starve and freeze outside with no clothes and no food and no shelter after working for them for generations and sleeping with our parents. It would have been ethical, reasonable for them to just, I don't know, pay us instead of creating the 13th Amendment, which made us slaves all over again. It rendered us out as convict leasing. Right? I implore you to read a book. Now, I'm going to stay on DeSantis' ass and his neck. And you know what? Today it's DeSantis because he's the guy in the news making the moves. Next week, it'll probably be Joe Biden or Trump. Get used to it. This is how we do it. Whew.
That was good. Excellent analogy.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Black.
I just wanted you to complete your thought because you want to roll here. And you're right. I mean, if there are no numbers, there is no data to determine these new laws that he's proposing or that have actually passed, then you cannot, maybe theoretically think that, if this, then that. But, if you don't have the numbers to do that, I mean, do the study, see what happens. If this happens, then does this happen? And let us get the numbers so that we can actually, speak.
From a position of knowing.
Exactly.
With facts and numbers to back it up,
Right.
But right now, we're just inflicting harm on people and cheering for that. You're supporting
the unknown.
I'm supporting the unknown with hopes of an outcome that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen.
True.
That's all I'm saying. So just, dog, even economists say there's a price to pay for what he's doing in Florida. Like, prices of goods are going to go up. I know that's good for some people because the people that sell those goods get to make more money. I understand that. But the people that got to pay for it, not so good for them. There are some jobs that people don't want. Let's just face it. Some people don't want to work in the fields in 100 degree plus days. So, like, our economy is about, it benefits from people being in a bad position. So it is what it is. That's why the prison industrial complex keeps on thriving. So DeSantis could help a lot just by helping with that. I don't know what he's doing in Florida about mass incarceration. I don't know what he's doing about convicts making low wages or no wages, basically. You okay over there? Mm-hmm. I don't know about that. But, yeah, okay. Thank you, Mrs. Black, for cutting me off there. I wanted to come up off there. That was just so much. What else we got? People that put in the comment section, I really want to know if anybody has data, not a meme, data, links, studies, something that shows, don't say back in the 70s. No, because a lot of shit has happened since the 70s. I'm talking about like now, like, does this help? And DeSantis doesn't get cool points for inadvertently doing something that somehow helped us in some roundabout way. Dog, you want to give me $100? Give me $100. Don't say, well, if I take it from him and then somehow if I accidentally leave a couple of dollars laying around, you might find it.
Right.
Come on, now. Just give me the money, man.
Yeah.
Well, I'm supposed to thank you because you accidentally dropped $2,
Right.
and I was lucky enough to pick it up, step on it before you could see it.
Tim Black's Black Table streams Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Feel the power of the news with us.